Let's talk about one of my regular lenses that I use pretty much on just about every shoot. It's the Tamron 17-50 2.8. Now, of course, everybody's out there saying, well, if it's not Canon lens, it can't be any good. But the fact of the matter is that this is a very reasonably priced lens, and it offers exceptional performance for the price. It's a great first lens if you need a generic walk-around lens. You need something that's fast, lightweight, focuses close, and of course actually has a very reasonable price. So the first thing I'll note is if you zoom it, it extends. I'm not thrilled about that, but such is life. I think you're going to find that most of these zoom lenses extend. Focusing on this lens is a little bit different. Yes, you can fit a standard lens gear onto it without a problem, but it focuses backwards for most cine lenses and video lenses. And I think that for some people, it's just going to drive you absolutely crazy. And really, it's probably the one big negative flaw of this lens. It's also very short throw range, about 45 degrees. So focus on this can be extremely twitchy. You have to really be careful and you really have to be thoughtful with this lens when you're handling the camera package, that you don't tap it lightly and knock it out of focus. It does have hard stops, so you can't focus past infinity. It is mechanically coupled when you have it in manual focus mode. In autofocus, if you want to use it for stills, I find it's really slow, it tends to hunt, don't bother. Pretty much manual focus this lens all the time. So another thing about this lens, there are two versions of it. One is image stabilized, the other one isn't. To me, image stabilization is just not important. I certainly worked without it for almost 30 years, so I would probably find I had problems with it rather than using it. And of course, that also reduces the price of the lens. As a still lens, I think it works pretty good. It certainly has great optical performance. My main complaint with it is the short focus throw and the backwards focusing. Now, that said, this lens will focus to practically that far in front of the lens. I mean, it focuses ridiculously close, and it'll do so when zoomed in at 50 millimeters. So once you consider some of the pluses and minuses with this lens, it's not a bad starter lens. I think that if it focused in the correct direction and it had a longer focus throw, it would kind of be a no-brainer that this would just be a great starter lens. You know, you get used to the follow focus and you're used to knowing which way to rotate the lens just kind of based on the look of it. And this kind of changes that, and you're going to have to really decide how significant a factor that is for you. There are some follow focuses which have a reversing gear to deal with lenses that are backwards like this. And if you have one of those setups, then that's not a concern for you outside of adding the reversing gear in. This lens is kind of a mixed blessing for me. Great optical performance, the reverse focus and short throw kind of throw me off when I throw this lens on because it's, out of all the lenses that I've got, this is the one oddball. But the price is irresistible. For me, this is kind of a thumbs up, thumbs down lens. If you can live with the backwards focusing, sure, okay, go for it. If you can't, you may want to go take a look somewhere else.